I know I go on and on about how much I love the ocean and that it's an ever-changing canvas that never stops surprising. And I do mean that. Like just recently I stumbled over one of those surprises when I found myself staring at a red tide. A phenomenon I have heard and read much about but never actually seen in person. So imagine my surprise, just walking along the coast and suddenly I see something that almost resembled blood. Sometimes when you're out by the sea taking photographs, you stumble over something very unique and breathtaking. Holy moly. This is incredible. The explanation on why this occurs is much less sinister, however. The red water is caused by a mass incident of a certain kind of algae which has red pigment. Like for example the blood drain algae, 𝐔𝐒𝐬𝐃. I'm not sure what kind of plankton that caused this particular red tide though, but it's most likely related to the family of plankton we in Norway called furuflagellater, which, when in large quantities, sometimes cause the ocean to turn red. Either way, this phenomenon is a wild spectacle and I'm really glad I finally got to see it and of course photograph it. This video, however, is not about red tides or blood drain algae, but it will tell the story about a different kind of phenomenon, one of ocean's many surprises, if you will. I will still talk about algae in the furuflagellater family though, so cheers for that, but these particular algae, they don't turn the ocean red. They set the ocean on fire. Earlier today, while I was editing, I figured I have to have a break. So I went out on my terrace or porch and I looked out over the ocean where I live and I saw this orange, kind of weird looking stream that floated inwards the bay. It looked kind of like rust. And I was not sure what this was. A couple of minutes later, my cousin called me and I asked him, have you ever seen anything like rust floating inwards on top of the water? And he said, I think it's something that's called in Norwegian morild, and I've written down the English word bioluminescent dinoflagellates, and they are tiny marine organisms that sometimes cause the ocean to spark at night. And I've seen videos of this and it's very beautiful, but I'm not sure if that is what it is actually. So I waited 12 hours now, crossing my fingers that they're still there when the night comes, because you have to wait until it gets dark, of course. So now's the time to find out if this is really bioluminescent dinoflagellates. I hope it is. I really hope it is. So fingers crossed for that. This is going to be a bucket list photography session, I just know it. This was all starting to feel more and more like a unique opportunity. It was happening really close to home, and it was happening in beautiful, quiet weather. Add to the fact that I had access to some helpful people that could assist me while I was trying to capture the show, and you got, what did they say? The stars had aligned. It actually does look like morild. In a few minutes now, it's gonna be dark enough and we can throw a rock out there and see what happens. Alright, so I've set up here. I found a patch where it's really concentrated and I put up one of the cameras here that's gonna film it in slow motion. And I'm gonna photograph it while someone throws a rock or something there. So this is very exciting. Almost dark enough now. As you may or may not know, I'm currently working on a huge underwater photo project. And all day, all I could think of was, don't mess this up. You need this to work for the project. I was nervous and I was stressed, worrying that I would not get the chance again to document this for quite some time, maybe years down the line, if I'm lucky. So, what's the best way to go about this? I know it's gonna be dark and it's gonna be quick. In photography, that's usually two things that doesn't mix very well. Alright, so obviously I need high ISO for the shutter speed, manual focus for sure, polarizer for the glare, maybe. It might be too dark for a polarizer though. Oh, I need something to help me set the focus in the dark. When is it dark enough, by the way? And so on and so on and so on. My mind just wouldn't quit. And then all of a sudden another thought started to creep into my mind. Could I use it up? I had read somewhere that these particular algae, they gather light from the sun during the day, and later when disturbed at night, presumably by predators or a wave or something, they release the charge they had gathered for confusion purposes. What if I only got one shot at this? What if we use it up by mistake while heading into position? And was this even the right type of algae? The answer to that last question though was luckily answered pretty quick, as not long after my expert helpers and moral support crew arrived, we quickly saw some signs that this really was the 𝐂𝐏𝐑 algae, and it was really happening.
Tror du det? Jeg har det på film.
And the light was incredible.
Wow.
Like Kjersti said or sang, it was like straight out of a Disney movie.
It's a Disney moment.
Nature played ball, and now it was up to me to catch it. We started out using sticks to stir the waters, and actually had quite a success doing it. It worked really, really well.
Åh, ja! Sånn liksom å se. Oh, wow.
We did not know this at the time, but the morild actually responded really well with slow movements. I think we had accidentally stumbled over the preferred method to catch the lights. As time moved on, we went along the coast looking for concentrated spots of algae, places where we also could get a dark background in order to capture the light more clearer. And when we found one, we usually threw some rocks and stirred with a rake while I was trying to capture the lights. And most of the time, this didn't work really well.
Var det noe av det beste du har sett I ditt liv?
But once in a while, there were hope, and the ocean's blue lightning lit up the night. But the best results came by not using force, but by gently stroking the surface with our hands.
Oi.
Der, jeg fikk det.
Fikk du den litt der?
Ja, jeg gjorde det.
Her kan det bli bra.
And when it all came together, and the ocean responded to our touch lighting up the summer night.
Å, dæven, det var fint. På slutten der. Her inne.
Her inne,
ja.
We stood there in awe,
Ja, det var det jo litt.
Striktaren.
Stryktaren.
mesmerized by how yet again, after so many years, the ocean can still surprise us.
Det var den fineste jeg fikk.
Thank you so much for watching, and have a great summer.